Good morning. You're listening to Insurance Matchmaking, your path to health, life, and Medicare coverage with Matt Libby Insurance. And now, sharing his knowledge, here's your host, Matt Libby.
All right, good morning. Welcome back to Insurance Matchmaking. It's election time, folks. Early voting, I was able to get mine done yesterday. Took me about 25 minutes from when I got in line and I was out the door. And I went a little after 4 on yesterday, and there was still a few people coming in when I left. The line was a little shorter outside. I think people realized, it's getting close to closing time, so they weren't coming. So hopefully the poll workers didn't have to stay too much after 5, because if you're in line, they're going to take you. So as you're hearing this show, it's still early voting, so it's Saturday. They just now opening up. You've got the few more hours today to get in there and get it done. And just a little public service announcement there. I want to get folks out, we all need to get out and vote. And if you listen to this station, you're probably keen on voting, so we'll get that going. And so last week I was talking about the different requirements that we need, prior to an appointment, the form. Some of the stuff is just, it helps us get ready for your appointment, but the couple forms are CMS requirements. And in the CMS requirements, it's not the same requirements, but we have requirements for both our Medicare clients and our under 65 ACA Affordable Care Act federal marketplace clients. We have to have a consent form that started this just isn't in this year. During the year, we didn't even have to do it last year for open enrollment, but we've had to do it since they put in the rule, and it's a good protection. It helps. I think it's going to help a lot. We've had it doesn't stop the bad actors. They're still out there spouting is like, I went out on my walk this morning. What I do, and I may have mentioned on here before, a lot of times what I'll do, I've got my headphones on and I'll pull up YouTube's, usually the ones, they'll have something to do with, my field, and just kind of hear what other agents are putting out. It gives me some, it gives me fodder for this show, that sometimes I'll hear something and go, I need to talk about that today on the show. But there was two, and of course, one of the irritating things, because I'll pull them up on YouTube and then I just listen to them. I have a little reflectorized, kind of like suspenders belt that it holds a water bottle, and it's got a pocket to put my phone in. And so then and then use Bluetooth to listen on the headphones. And there was 2 ads coming up about how, you can call and get this card and you're going to save all kinds of money. One was like, seniors are finding out they no longer have to pay for groceries. That's so much baloney. Now, there are cards out there. There are plans. Not all plans have them. Usually, most of the plans that have those benefits where they're going to help you pay for your groceries are going to be the special needs plans. Those are the people who, they're on Medicare, but their income is low enough that they also qualify for Medicaid. And again, in our case here in Tennessee, that's TennCare. You can get a card that you can use to pay for groceries. Even seniors, I don't know how many out there can live on $50 a month of groceries, because that's what the majority of the gift cards are, or not gift cards, the grocery cards. That's generally most of what their allowance are. Now, again, if they have the special needs plan, yes, those benefits are going to be a little higher in maybe a single person or a couple, and they're both on a Medicare plan and have that food card. It might be enough to cover most of their groceries. And the other thing is, too, if they're in that income bracket, they probably have SNAP, and most commonly referred to as food stamps. So they probably do have some other ways of assisting to get groceries, and maybe that little bit extra is just that they needed just a little bit more to cover more than what their food stamps cover. So it's almost true. I don't know that I'd say that it's fully credible, but there are cards out there. But there's another one out there, and it's like, get save $3,200 or get $3,200 worth of benefit. Well, if you add your dental benefits, your vision benefits, the over-the-counter allowance, maybe a food card, maybe the utility, and you add all those together, the benefits may total that amount. But if you don't go to the dentist all year, you didn't use $2,000 or $2,500 of dental benefits. So that didn't put money in your pocket. But if you need the dental benefits, by all means use them. I've used mine. So those are the things. The misleading ads, and that's one thing I was noticing. It is election time, as I mentioned in the beginning, And so there are a lot of election ads. If you're watching, I noticed watching football games this weekend, and of course, was watching the Texas-Georgia game, so we're seeing a lot of Texas commercials for the election because they know that most of the people watching that game probably live in Texas or Georgia, I guess. But the ads, a lot of times this time of year, there's not a lot of Medicare ads on TV this time of year during a presidential election year. After November 5th and the election's over, you will be swamped. You can't turn on the TV and not see a Medicare commercial. It's going to happen. But what I've noticed a lot of, and maybe it's just because in my feed, because I talk about Medicare, I'm seeing a lot of Medicare ads, and they're usually for, hey, come here and come to one of our seminars or go online to one of our seminars. And you've heard me talk about the seminars I do. Now, I'm generally too busy this time of year to run those kind of seminars, especially if I'm going to go to the library to set it up. I've got to stop working at a certain point so I can get to the library on time to set up, to run that workshop. And I'm spending the money to send out the mailers and things like that to get people to come. I'm really busy this time of year. You've probably heard me say on the radio here that I say, this time of year, October to December, I'm really busy. The rest of the year I have to work. And that's one of the things I do when I'm working is doing those Medicare, welcome to Medicare workshops, because I've got the time. I'm not that busy. I say that this time of year, we don't have time to stop and think. We just do. People call in, schedule appointment. We figure, sometimes we kind of have to squeeze them in between appointments to say, well, they can only come, they can only meet with me on this day. The other thing we do is, we can do a video conference. I signed up for the Google workspace, so everybody in my office has their email. It'll say at mattlibbyinsurance.com, but it's a Gmail based system. But one of the things I get with that Gmail, that Google-based system, is also get what's called Google Meet. Works like Zoom. That I can share my screen. You can see it on your device. You can see it on a phone. I don't recommend doing it on a phone if you can get it on a tablet like an iPad or just any kind of tablet or a laptop computer, because when I'm sharing the things to you, I'm showing you the quoting, the side-by-side comparisons that I have on my computer screen, which are really easy to show in my office. In fact, I have a larger screen, flat screen TV that I have positioned so my clients can see what I'm talking about. Now, you can do it on the phone, but it's going to be the size of the phone screen. You can do the little finger technique to expand it, and so it shows a little bigger, but it doesn't, it's better than just listening to me on the phone, because all you're doing is hearing me, maybe taking some notes. I like the full video conference, and one of the big parts on that is I like to be able to see you when I'm showing this, because I can do so it's very similar to being in person, and I can see your reactions to things, because a lot of times I'll say something, and again, I say this, I talk about this every day. I know what I'm talking about. And I forget that some of the terms I use are more like jargon, and they don't mean a lot to people. And I start talking about deductibles and max out-of-pockets and prior approval, prior authorizations, and networks, and that all just kind of runs together. I had a email I'd sent to somebody here recently, was talking about some situations, and his reply was, when I try to read what you said, all I hear is Charlie Brown's teacher. And I thought I was being very plain and straightforward on what I was saying, and I realized, because one, I'm not a typist. If you've been in my office, you know that I am not a typist, so it takes me a little while to type things out. So generally, I try to type very little when I'm sending an email and sending that message. So not that I'm trying to use shorthand all the time, but the sentences generally don't want to be too long, not too explanatory. Where I'm talking to you, I can get into a little more explanation. But again, in that face-to-face, I can see, are you understanding what I'm saying, or do I need to back up, expand a little bit on what I'm explaining to make sure that you're understanding? Because my job, yes, I'm a salesperson. I really try to sell people on me and not on the products. I want to make sure you're fully educated and understanding of what I'm offering and why I'm offering it, and let you make an informed decision, especially when I talk about, the difference between a Medicare Advantage and a Medicare Supplement plan. I want to make sure you understand those differences, and that's one of the other ads I see a lot right now are the ones telling you, oh, Medicare Advantage is terrible, don't get Medicare Advantage. Well, that doesn't really help somebody if they've already got a Medicare Advantage, because they may not be able to switch to a Medicare Supplement. And you've got some medical professionals, and it's a billing issue. They want to know. It's easier for them doing the billing, especially like those that work in the assisted living or home health situations, that they can get paid a lot easier if somebody's on original Medicare, to get paid quicker, and they don't have to fight with prior authorizations like they do with the Medicare Advantage. So they don't want to deal with that. But the problem is, if you got somebody that's in that situation and they're on a Medicare Advantage, they're probably not going to be able to drop that Medicare Advantage and pick up a Medicare Supplement in probably 90% of the time. So just tell them to drop their Medicare. They could do that, but that's going to put them on the exposure of that 20% that Medicare doesn't cover. They're on the hook for that, and that can run into thousands of dollars. So you're not necessarily thinking in the best interest of that patient, and I'm putting in patient, not client status there. I have clients, Medicare professionals have patients, and they need to be thinking about what's in the best interest of that person. And that's what I try to do. I had somebody in my office this week, and one of the major carriers is not going to be accepted as in-network at Vanderbilt, and so that's a big factor. We went through, reviewed some options and stuff, and it's like, it still might mean you might still be better off with the plan you have, and check to see if those providers will still agree to take your plan as an out-of-network situation. And that's one of those benefits of having a PPO. So I maybe did my customer service and get nothing out of the deal of not being able to write an application that's something I can get paid on. So that's and that happens. It's also, I can feel good about myself. I can sleep at night, not feel guilty that I was able to help someone. I appreciate the fact that I do have this career where I am able to help people, but also earn a living at it and provide employment. I currently have 3 employees, so they are thankful that I'm doing this, that they have a job. They tolerate me anyway. I don't know. It's cool to be able to do, like I said, be able to do something, help people, provide employment for others, and still earn a living at it, and be my own boss, and be able to take off if I need to and not have to ask anybody permission. So it looks like we've come up on our break, and we'll be right back here after a couple minutes of ads.
Hi, this is David Price, your Twin Lakes Business Solutions Consultant. Is your business internet a little slow? If so, you can bump up your broadband with gig speed fiber from Twin Lakes. We offer affordable plans, scalable phone and conferencing services, and local 24/7 tech support. Everything and everyone can move faster with fiber. Give me a call today at 931-476-2151 or visit twinlakes.net, and let's get your business up to speed.
Looking for incredible deals and unique finds? Discover the Habitat Restore off South Jefferson Avenue in Cookeville. From furniture and home decor to appliances and building materials, we've got everything you need to spruce up your space, all at unbeatable prices. Plus, every purchase supports Habitat for Humanity, helping families build their dream homes right here in our community. So why wait? Visit Habitat Restore today and uncover treasures while making a difference. South Jefferson Avenue, right here in Cookeville.
And now, back to Insurance Matchmaking with Matt Libby Insurance.
All right, and welcome back to Insurance Matchmaking. And I was talking before the break about some of the issues with I don't want to say false advertising, but misleading advertising, and the well-intentioned medical professionals that are giving insurance advice which they're not qualified to do, and talking about people should drop their Medicare Advantage and get a Medicare Supplement. I went independent because that was one of the things that changed for me. Was I was in a company, taught me how to pitch Medicare Advantage plans. There's more money in it for us that way, and I still write Medicare Advantage plans. There's some agents out there that all they will ever do, and of course they'll be very vocal about how terrible Medicare Advantage plans are. And for them, most of them is they don't want to go through the certification process and deal with all the compliance issues that come with being able to offer a Medicare Advantage plan. The other thing on that is we have to do the same certification for the Medicare Advantage as we do for the Part D drug plan. So you've got people who will pitch Medicare supplements, and they will work with people to help them lower their premium, because after you've had a plan for a few years, those premiums have gone up, and usually you can save some money on your monthly premiums by switching to another carrier and start that process over again. That one's going to go up too. That's one of the things about Medicare supplements. They go up as you age. So that's great, but the thing is, the people, and I've said it on here I think a couple times, but just to reiterate, you do not have to do anything with your Medicare supplement during this time of year. This annual election period for Medicare is for those with a Medicare Advantage and a Part D drug plan. Now, if you have a Medicare supplement, you have a Part D drug plan. But that's what you need to review, not so much your supplement. Now, you can change your supplement, and a lot of times people do that because they can get a lower premium on it. And the beauty on that is, this is currently October. If we find that, you're good enough health, you can change your Medicare supplement plan, because, and I say good enough health, there is health underwriting. You do have to medically qualify for a Medicare supplement. But if you can answer no to most of the questions, and some of those questions are, have you had a heart attack in the last 2 years? Have you had cancer in the last 2 years? Those are probably two of the biggest ones. Do you get infusions of medications? Those are things that we call them knockouts. That will knock you out of being able to change your plan. But the thing is, if you've just got a rate increase, or you've been paying a lot more and you're like, I want to save on my monthly premium, you can change your plan, and you don't have to wait for January for it to start. If we change your drug plan, we change your Medicare Advantage plan during this annual election period, that's not going to go in effect until January 1st. This is, as they like to call it, an open enrollment, which frustrates me because there's like 4 different things that Medicare calls open enrollment, so it can get a little confusing there too. There is no open enrollment. Well, I'm saying that wrong. There is no annual enrollment or re-enrollment period for Medicare supplements. You do have a open enrollment Medicare supplement when you first go on Medicare. Usually it's when you first turn 65, but it's also when you first activate Part B, because some people will delay their Part B because they are still working and they're on their employer plan. The other thing is, we do have people who qualify for Medicare prior to age 65 because they've been on Social Security disability for at least 24 months. So it's 6 months from when that Part B date is effective, and that's usually the first day of the month when you turn 65. That's what's the most typical. That's an open enrollment. You have a 6-month open enrollment where there are no health questions for a Medicare supplement. You're considered perfect health, and even you smokers out there, you can get a non-smoker rate. Now, if you get a plan later, and because you're going to lower the premium, you do have to answer yes or no to the smoker question, and most plans are going to charge you more if you are a tobacco user. So just keep that in mind. But what I was alluding to is, if I'm able to find a plan for you that's going to be a much lower premium than what you're currently paying, if we did that application today, that plan can start November 1st. So that's a great method there. The other thing is, if you are one of those that have decided, hey, I'm tired of dealing with the network, we're going to do some more traveling, I want to have some more flexibility with my Medicare coverage, and I want to drop a Medicare Advantage and go to a Medicare supplement. Now, to do that, we want to request for your Medicare supplement to start January 1st, because if we applied for it now, you have your Medicare Advantage plan. Your Medicare Advantage plan is still going to be your primary insurance, because this Medicare supplement is always secondary. It's secondary to Medicare. Well, the Medicare Advantage replaces your Medicare as your insurance, so it's primary. So what we do is, maybe there might be some issues with that underwriting, but we can do an application now for Medicare supplement requesting that it start on January 1st and have it. And once we know that that's approved, now you'll be able to cancel that Medicare Advantage on January 1st and be on the Medicare supplement. So then we would do a Part D drug plan application for January 1st, and that will cancel your Medicare Advantage. And that's all you have to do. and there's nothing else you have to call anybody to cancel in that regard. If you change your Medicare supplement to a new Medicare supplement, you do have to contact your old company to cancel that plan, or they'll continue to bill you for your plan, even though you've enrolled in another plan. So you don't want to pay for two. And that's one of those things I'm not able to do if I wasn't your agent. If I didn't originally put you on your Medicare supplement, I can't contact that company on your behalf and say, cancel this plan as of this date. They've moved to a new plan. You have to do that yourself. That's only with the Medicare supplements. The Part D drug plans, you changed Part D drug plans. Medicare does that cancellation, the same thing with a drug plan from a Medicare Advantage, or vice versa. Now, again, if you decide to move from a Medicare supplement to a Medicare Advantage plan, the Medicare Advantage plan will cancel out your drug plan, but you will still have to contact your Medicare supplement carrier to cancel that plan, or they will continue to bill you. So that's one of those things on the Medicare supplement. As I mentioned, if we're going to save you on that, we can go ahead and change that for the next month and start saving on that. The other, and I was going somewhere else with this, and I needed to finish the other statement. I don't remember what I was going to say on the Medicare supplement. We can look to see if we can save you on that now, but we wouldn't change your drug. Oh, that was where I was going. See, I knew if I just kept talking, I'd remember what I wanted to say. Because of the Inflation Reduction Act, a lot of the Part D drug plans have gone to a higher premium. And we also are seeing a little bit higher than normal increase in Medicare supplement premiums because the loss ratios are rising for the insurance companies, and that's thanks to COVID. Even though it's funny, but especially in this past year. So that's what's affecting the premiums. I think the next year it should be a little more stable. But what happened was people weren't electing to get some procedures done, or weren't able to because of COVID. They couldn't get in to get a knee replacement, or they couldn't get in to get their colonoscopy. All those little things that need to be done, and you're putting them off. Or maybe you had a hernia that doctor says, well, if you start having too much pain, you're going to need to have that done, or back surgery. All those little things that I don't want to use the term elective but they are kind of an elective surgery because they're not emergency surgery. Emergency surgery is going to happen. Do like I did and slip and fall and bust your kneecap. That wasn't an insurance. That was not a surgery that was going to wait. And so I did end up in the hospital during COVID to have that done, because that was in July of 21. And so that was in that period where people weren't scheduling routine procedures. They were putting them off. But now that people are being able to get in and get those surgeries done, that the insurance companies are having to pay more. And, of course, those costs have gone up too. So how much they're having to pay is gone up. And so they're needing to raise those premiums they are in the business to be profitable. They're not there to lose money. So those costs get passed on to you, the user. So you've got kind of a double attack there. Is your drug plan premium has increased because the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, if you have a lot of expensive prescriptions, it's benefiting you, because you have a cap of $2,000 on your prescriptions. Problem is, the insurance company has to eat a lot more of those costs if you've hit that maximum. So that's why they're raising their rates, because they need to stay. And it happens a little bit with the Medicare Advantage, but it's not quite as drastic effect for those. But you couple that with the increase in Medicare supplement premiums, and people are going, I'm paying almost $300 a month. I hardly ever go to the doctor. Why am I paying so much? They're deciding to maybe elect to go to one of those Medicare Advantage plans that have a zero premium. And hey, I don't have to have a separate dental policy because it'll cover dental, most plans. And so there's some things there, that some cost exchanges that you can do that. That's where it comes in. I love to couple a Medicare Advantage plan with a hospital indemnity plan and cancer coverage, because those are the two things that are going to be your big cost with the Medicare Advantage. Most plans, you're going to have a copay from $200 to $400 per day for those first few days you're in the hospital. If you're in the hospital longer than those days of copay, then the rest of that hospital stay is covered 100%. So most people don't hit their max out of pocket for a hospital stay, because they cap out. If they're in for more than 5 days, they're not paying anymore. So it doesn't matter if you're in there for 5 days or you're in there for 15. the hospital stay is going to be the same cost. So you're not going to hit that maximum out of pocket. Cancer, on the other hand, is any cancer treatments like radiology and chemotherapy. You're going to pay a 20% coinsurance on that cost, and you will pay that until you hit that maximum out of pocket for that year. And as I say before, I don't know anybody who's been diagnosed with cancer in December, has their chemotherapy, and it's all done by December 31st. It's usually going to span over at least 2 years, sometimes 3 years. So that's where a cancer plan can come in handy to help you cover those expenses, especially if you're on an Advantage plan. But even if you're on a Medicare Supplement plan, that cancer plan can be handy because generally people, they're going to travel out of town to get their cancer treatments. They're going to go someplace that they feel they're going to get their best treatment. And health insurance does not pay for your transportation costs, your out-of-state lodging. All those little things can add up, and that's where cancer plan can come in very inexpensively to help reimburse for those things. So that's something to look into. And even if you've had cancer before, doesn't mean you can't get a cancer plan. Most of the cancer plans will let you get a new plan if it's been at least 5 years since you had cancer. So they look at you like you've never had it before. If you just got over cancer treatment, 6 months ago, no, I can't get you a cancer plan. We have to wait that 5 years. So those are some things that hopefully we can get going for you and help you protect your income, your retirement income, and you don't have too much life left at the end of your money. So those are some things we can do to help protect you and protect your bank account. So again, we'll be doing the under 65 stuff here coming up in November. We'll talk about that probably next week. And until then, insurancematchmaking.com, and see you on the radio.
You've been listening to Insurance Matchmaking with Matt Libby, your path to health, life, and Medicare coverage with Matt Libby Insurance.